Lovely to be again with you in one of our Saturday meetings. Today we are going to concentrate on some practices that can help you to fall asleep better and also to maybe stay asleep, or to show you what can you do if you wake up in the middle of the night. But first of all, I would like to recognize that insomnia is a big problem all over the world. I mean, in the United States alone, 30% of the population has some kind of sleep disorder, and 10% have serious sleep disorders, which is a lot of people, really. And then I have, through the years, met different people that have shared with me how annoying and exhausting it is to not be able to sleep. I have students that have talked with me about that, and I hear similar stories and sometimes slightly different variations of it. Sometimes people have had it for years and they are really frustrated about it, and they have given up and try different kinds of marijuana or some other things to try to sleep, and sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't help, and then they get addicted to have it in any case, even if it doesn't help. And some people, the reason why they cannot fall asleep is that their mind races. It just keeps talking. They cannot stop it. It's like it has a life of its own. And usually it goes to negative spaces, sometimes criticizing the person, or something is wrong with you, or something is wrong with the world, or something is wrong with the situation. Usually goes to the things that worry us, because we engage with them thinking that perhaps if I engage enough, I can sort mentally what to do with it. But if you observe the reality of what happens, you can see that usually it becomes to have a life of its own, and it's repetitive thoughts and negative thoughts, and it ends up depleting you, making you more anxious instead of being able to solve the situation. So if you observe any of this, somebody else shared with me that when she cannot sleep, she gets anxious. She gets anxious about why I cannot sleep. I need to be ready for tomorrow. And it's a spiral, right? Because she cannot sleep because she's anxious about the many things that are in her life. And then the more anxious she gets about not being able to sleep, the less that she can sleep. And that makes her even more anxious. And so there is this kind of obvious trip of feeding into that. The same with depression. Depression can cause insomnia, and insomnia can cause depression, and they can feed on each other. And so all this is to say that we need to have an integrative approach to trying to fall asleep. It's not just what can I do at the time that I wake up, but how can I start working with my whole organism, with my mind and with my body during the day, so that at night I have trained a little bit more these muscles of patience, not too much resistance to something that I don't like. Because if during the day I'm always resisting everything, of course at night I have already that muscle very activated. We have been developing that other resistance. So in Buddhism, we know that it's a understanding that pain is unavoidable. Life will bring you things that sometimes you will be dissatisfied about, but that's one thing. And then your resistance, pain multiplies by resistance equals the amount of suffering you get. So one thing is the difficulty, the other thing is the resistance, and then is the suffering that comes from there. So we are going to see if we can train on experiencing during the day, perhaps not so much resistance and not so much anxiety. We realize that not only do we need to train during the day in having a mind that's less resistant and active, and I mean, still thinking and still being in the world, but how to be in the world. That's the key factor. That's what we are working with, seeing if we can bring ourselves to experience this kind of calmness. And eventually, once the mind is calm, the body follows suit, and then it also falls asleep. My invitation is to work from inside out, having patience and not having too many expectations, but supporting with some energy practices that can also help us to fall asleep deeper. So what can we give to the mind at night when we are about to go to sleep and all the remembrances of the day come up and all that? And what can we give to the mind in the middle of the night when we wake up and we go, oh no, not again. I need to be rested, so I need to sleep. Sleep is an important thing for memory, for everything. Let's give to that child that is our mind other toys that are more conducive to calming. So the one toy that you know by now, I could test you and I think all of you would pass. What is the most powerful toy that we can give to the mind so that then it calms down? If it pays attention to that, it will calm down. And that, of course, is the breath. Yeah. Why the breath? Because the breath is something, on the one hand, physical, but on the other hand, it has a lot to do with our attention and intention. We can manipulate our breath a little bit and have some effects. And also the breath has this very subtle nature that if we can hook onto that flow, the inflow of the breath and the outflow of the breath, we are kind of lulled into relaxing and into sleep. And again, for now, for this week, we are not even expecting to fall asleep. We are just having the intention of, I want to work in a different way when I wake up, and I want to explore if I can relax a little bit. And if you fall asleep, so much better. It will be like an extra bonus, but it's not the litmus test of, did I fall asleep in these first 20 minutes? No, okay, it doesn't work. Right, okay. So let's do a little breath together and then we'll keep adding some other techniques. So for now we are sitting, but if you are in a bed or in a couch or whatever, you can also be laying down. And of course, at night you will be laying down. The posture is always very important because that affects, the way our body feels. So in as much as possible, wherever you are sitting or laying down, try to create a posture where the shoulders are relaxed. Often we go to sleep hunched like this. So if you are near your pillow and you can bring your shoulders down, stretch your arms, along the sides of your body, and then kind of put yourself on the pillow, already lowering this. That would be great. If you are sitting, same thing, just kind of lowering the shoulders and keeping the spine in as much as possible straight. And we are going to do a very simple meditation of just following the flow of the breath inwards and following the flow of the breath out. So we are giving that busy child of our mind who loves to jump here and there one toy that is about first straightening your posture. If you haven't straightened it, I'm seeing you, so please straighten your posture. Otherwise, don't tell me you don't get the results if you are all crunched like this. Straighten your posture more, more, more. There. How does that feel? Great, great. So without forcing, straightening the posture, create a lot of, as much as possible, within what your body can take. Create a lot of space for your lungs and your heart. And then bring your attention to the breathing, inhaling like sighing and following the flow, that gentle flow of air coming in. And eventually, when the time comes to exhale, following the flow of the air going out. Slowly and gently, like this is the only thing that matters in the world right now. Noticing that flow of air coming in, like sighing. Maybe there is a slight pause, natural pause, and then exhaling and inviting your body to relax. And let's see if we can add a slight smile in our face when your body gets the message of, oh, she's smiling, he's smiling, we must be okay. We can relax. If the mind wanders away, we gently bring it back to the flow of the air coming in. As we sigh, we breathe in, following that flow of air in. Maybe there is a slight pause and following that flow of air out. Let's just do 5 more of these breaths at your own pace, still with your spine straight and your body relaxed. Every time you exhale, invite your body to relax. Feel this body giving in with the relaxation. Every time you inhale, just feel the sense of lifting and growing, like if you were a plant that's growing in the spring. With every exhalation, you are growing roots through your seat into the earth, having a sense of stability, grounding. And with every inhalation, you are lengthening up like a plant that's growing. Inviting your body to relax, sensing your shoulders relaxing, your arms relaxing, your legs, your trunk, your back relaxing. And now just following the sound of the gong. Also relaxing. I'm going to bring it 2 more times. Allow the vibrations to resonate up, feeling that strengthening of your spine and extension up. And this time allowing the resonance to feed you the roots that you're growing down, deep down, sense of grounding. For a moment, just staying in the silence, noticing the aliveness and stillness of your body. So it is said in one of the Upanishads that we have inside ourselves these two birds. One is always picking at everything and taking the sweet fruit and the bitter fruit and liking it, disliking it, keeping moving, picking, picking, picking. That's our individual self that gets engaged with all kinds of things and has all kinds of um, reactions to it. And then there is another bird inside us which just sits there and observes. And then it's in the merging of the two, the one that's accustomed to move around, like that busy mind that we have. And then this other capacity that we also have of experiencing the movement of the breath, of experiencing the sense of grounding, experiencing the sense of deepening and elongating, and just experiencing a sense of peace in the body is accompanied by a moment of peace in our mind and in our hearts. It's difficult to get a hold of the mind because if you just try to hold it through thoughts, it just generates more thoughts and proliferates in thoughts. But a way of catching that bird that's always picking at different things and helping it to become quiet is through sensations in the body. And for that, we're coming back to that we spoke in another session. I think it was last week. We were talking about interoception. Interoception is the sense of the processes that happen in our body. And usually we are a bit distant from our body because we are mainly in our head, in our thoughts, in our reactions, in our sometimes feelings or emotions, which have to do also more with the heart, but they are always, some thoughts move also to some emotional states and vice versa. So that tends to be proliferating. But if we can get a hold of just breathing and going towards silence and paying attention also to how we feel when we are like that, just kind of registering that subtle state of calmness. That's a very good preparation for the night. I mean, it's a good thing to do in the night, but it's also a good thing to do several times a day because that's the kind of muscle that you're trying to develop so that then at night it's not so strange to give to that busy child the toy of the breath, right? So, work that or practice that I would like to recommend for you for this week is several times a day, take a break, take a deep breath, 3 deep breaths. So, let's do pause, breathe, and smile. So, you take a moment to pause, you take a few deep breaths, and then you act the act of smiling, because smiling, as we said, gives a clue to the vagus nerve and to the brain, to the whole nervous system, that something is okay, because otherwise you wouldn't be smiling, right? And so it goes, oh, okay, finally, now we can stimulate the relaxation response. I mean, there are many studies of how the brain takes its clues from our body. Like, um, I was seeing the other day a video of a neurobiologist, and she was talking about this experiment where they were showing to a group of funny thing, cartoons and whatever. And they had three groups looking at these funny cartoons. A group was just didn't have anything. Another group had a pen here like that. And so it had a more of a this kind of gesture. And another one had the pencil or pen like this. So it had a more this kind of gesture. I mean, they were not even bringing themselves to a smile, which is much more powerful. They were just artificially being kind of having this kind of gesture or this kind of gesture or nothing. And when they were looking at the comics, the ones that saw the comics and they didn't have anything in their face, they thought that they were more or less funny. The ones that had the pen here, just to have them had that kind of gesture, they thought they were not funny at all. And the ones that had the pencil like here, they thought that they were hilariously funny. So apparently, the brain and the nervous system catches whatever clues we are giving through our facial muscles. For that is so important to smile. So for this week, whenever you remember to reset your mind and heart, smile. Stop what you're doing, take a few deep breaths, like sighing, and with the emphasis or the intention of dropping whatever annoyance you may be feeling or worries or anything that's kind of going more towards the negative side. Do the long exhalation, which we know it stimulates the relaxation response, and then smile. And if you actually can smile, you could actually think of something that makes you smile, something that your pet does or something that a child has done or anything that really makes you smile. If you start smiling with the mouth here, and then you perhaps have your smile go up to your eyes, and so have it there, and somehow bring it to your heart and have a sense of gratitude for it, you will see that immediately changes your whole state of being. So if you can, for whatever reason, cannot bring it to the heart at that moment, at least start with the mouth and see if it can come into the eyes too, right? And that's a very, very good training for better sleep at night. Believe it or not, if you do that several times during the day, every day of the week, you arrive at night in a better state. You have been flexing those muscles that you needed so that you can fall into sleep more easily. And of course, you could do that immediately before going to sleep too. Just kind of think, bring yourself to the experience of the blessings of that day. Remember something that made you smile, even if it's a little thing. Maybe you saw a squirrel eating a fig and you thought, how cute. And you remember, oh yeah, that was cute. And you think, oh, that's a reason to smile. Okay, let me practice this pharmacy that I have inside me, this super relaxation, potent chemical that I can produce within myself. I don't need to go anywhere to get it. I have it within me. So, okay, let me produce that chemical inside, positive. Otherwise, when we worry and just naturally fall into worrying and getting angry or upset or depressed, we are generating poison and we are drinking it. And so knowing that, we are going to start manufacturing some better chemicals for ourselves and flexing that muscle that we want to have at night. Okay, we have a deal. Yes, you are going to stop. Yes, good. I can see those thumbs up. Okay, great. And stop. Have a few deep breaths, longer exhalation. with the intention of relaxing and smiling. And also before you go to sleep. And then what if I wake up in the middle of the night? Are you going to ask me to smile when I'm in the middle of the night and I want to go back to sleep? Yes. Because if at that moment you start thinking, oh my gosh, I need to be, I need to be sleeping, and why is it happening to me again and again? Of course, you are feeding more poison in a way that will keep you awake. So you can start by thinking, hmm, I woke up. What a blessing. So many people die at night in their beds. I was able to wake up, which means I'm still alive. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this club of people that smile when they think, I'm alive when I wake up at night. Okay, so you already are putting aside some of that burden that usually comes up. And then you go, and I have a bed, and I have a roof, and it's more or less nice here. I mean, I'm not too cold, not too warm. So many blessings that many other people don't have. And then you can go, and I can breathe. Some people wake up but they have problems breathing, so I can breathe. What were those breathings that I could do? Oh, okay, I can inhale slowly, follow the flow of breath, and I can pay attention to the flow of breath out and then the flow of breath in, and every time being thankful and smiling that you can breathe, that you have intelligence and memory and intention and attention, and that you can flow with the air in and the air out. And so, what you are doing is you are re educating yourself, you are retraining yourself so that waking up is actually an occasion of celebration. I love to wake up in the night. I mean, you might think I'm crazy, but I love to wake up in the night. I sit in my bed, I open my eyes, and I look in the darkness. And it's so relaxing because in the darkness there is not so much light. The eyes can really relax looking in the darkness. And so you are not straining, you're just opening your eyes and letting them rest. And then I start those 8 breathings that I have shared with you, and the mudras. But you might say, okay, I don't remember the breathings at night, and I don't want to go for the computer and put in your video and start doing the because that would wake me even more. You're right. So practice with those during the day and not do it at night. But at night you could do something simple, like, okay, so you wake up, you start counting your blessings, not just counting one, I'm awake, two, I'm alive, but actually going into the pleasure of, wow, it's a blessing really that I'm still alive. I could be dead, and it's just so great, and I'm breathing. So after you do that, and then maybe you also send some love to other people that you like, your friends who probably will be sleeping too. Just send them sweet dreams, just send your joy for their existence in your life, your appreciation of them being in your life, and send the love and peace. And as you put yourself in that space and imagine them rejoicing in their sleep because they are actually more relaxed at that moment. And it's a great time to send good things because we are all much more aware in a way. I mean, there is not so many distractions of us being busy with other things or whatever. So the night is a great time to send blessings. And also the other people are not so distracted. They probably are sleeping too. So it's a very good, there is more possibilities than your sending of love can arrive and relax other people. So send that. And as you put yourself into that space and you imagine them receiving this extra measure of restful sleep and enjoying, you put yourself in that space of sending it and seeing, experiencing them receiving it. It will help your body to relax and experience more relaxation even if you are awake. So again, I'm not saying, do this and you immediately will fall asleep. I want you to drop those expectations and just work on relaxing, just relaxing. Okay? Because if you have the expectation, you are putting the brake at the same time that you're trying to move. So we are dropping the expectations and just practicing this to see, if we can relax a little bit better than tossing and turning or being depressed. So another practice that you can do that your vagus nerve totally loves is, the vagus nerve is this long nerve that starts at the end of the brain and goes all along your spine, all the way down to your colon. And it nourishes your lungs and your heart, and then also the liver and the liver and the gallbladder, the spleen and the stomach, and your viscera. So it has a major saying in the general state of your being, and it's also connected to your facial muscles. So when you smile, you can relax. So you start counting your blessings, you smile. And another thing that your vagus nerve really likes is when you roll your tongue. So maybe you don't remember the breath or whatever, but you can roll your tongue, right? So you could, after sending the lab to your friends, and if you haven't yet fall asleep after all those other practices of sending love, something else that you can do, I want to give you different tools so you can try different things, different days or in one same night. Just rolling the tongue. The tongue is inserted right in the here in the back of the throat, and that's where, more or less, where your vagus nerve is. So the vagus nerve also gets a nice stimulus with the rolling of the tongue. It also gets a nice stimulus with yawning and with laughing. So for now, let's do the rolling of the tongue. And it's just slow. You bring your tongue and you so you are rolling the tongue between on top of the teeth and under this skin that you have here. Slowly. And smile. Aren't we looking funny with all this? So, and you will notice that there is a saliva that's being produced. So in the traditional practice of the rolling of the tongue is 36 times one way and 36 times the other way. But you can do just, 5 or 6 one way and 5 or 6 the other way, and then another time do 10 or whatever, just a little bit, and never force anything. But as you roll the tongue one way and the other way, you will notice that there is a saliva that's being formed. And so you accumulate that saliva. If you are sitting, it's a great practice before meditation, if you are people who practice meditation, because afterwards you take that saliva and you swallow it in 3 installments, and you follow the saliva as it comes down in your throat. This is again interoception, is becoming aware of the inner sensations in your body, coming in to notice. If you are laying down, you can also gently swallow that saliva and have a sense of how it moves in your body. And it's an easy way to give to that child of your mind 2 toys to play with. One is the rolling of the tongue, and the other is the swallowing of the saliva. And you are also giving a nice, gentle massage to the insertion with your vagus nerve, which in turn stimulates the relaxation response to your whole organism. Okay, so that's easy. You can try that for as long as you like, 36 one time, 36 the other, or 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 and whatever, and 6. to see what happens with that. Okay. So many tools. You don't need to use them all in one night, but you can have them, and then whichever one you remember, you practice that. This one of the rolling of the tongue is also very nice to do it in combination with the 5 points that we have learned here in the back of our head. You know, the 5 points. The first one being, let's see, the wind mansion here, following the line of the spine and coming to the line of the neck and having that hollow there. So you interlace your fingers, bring your two thumbs there. That's the wind mansion. Then if you go along the line of the skull, these two are two other indentations here are the gates of consciousness. In a moment, we're going to be practicing with all of this. And then going along the ropey muscles of the neck, here, kind of half the way between the line of the skull and the line of the shoulders, there are these two other ones. And you use this part to squeeze there and release. And squeeze and release. So, do you see the points? Were you able to see the points more or less? Yeah? Okay, so we are going to interlace the hands, bring one thumb on top of the other. If you are sitting, you can just kind of lay back and put your hands like this and let your head be cradled in your palms. And then bring your thumbs to the wind mansion. So it's like all those thoughts that you have been having during the day and maybe are worrying you still before going to sleep. They have come now home and they are all going to lay down and rest. So we're going to do a few deep breaths, inhaling like sign. Exhaling, letting go of tension, smiling. Again, inhaling through the nose, exhaling. Exhaling through the nose or through the mouth, however you prefer. And having this sense of relaxation, everything is kind of drooping down. And now we are going to combine the rolling of the tongue with this. So you can practice this on its own, or you can practice it while you are rolling the tongue. So we have in a triple, quintuple approach here. Your intention and attention, the breath, the release points, the rolling of the tongue, which is helping with the nervous vagus nerve. So let's see what we can do with that. And smiling. You can do just one of it, just the breathing and all of the rest, or you can add the rolling of the tongue too. I think I like them better separate. I think I like so much these points here that I like to do just this with the breath and bringing my attention and intention there and having the intention of letting all the thoughts rest. And I think that's enough. And then I think I like the rolling of the tongue separate, but I don't know. You see what works for you. Okay. So did we do the 5 points? No, we did the first one. Let's go to the second one, to gates of consciousness. In gates of consciousness, you can open yourself up to what is that you are grateful for. and allowing that positive experience to stay with you in your body as a way of relaxing. Something that gives you physical pleasure, emotional pleasure, something that you are really grateful for, perhaps even amazed about it. I'm smiling, rejoicing in it. If not now, when? If not you, who? I know that comes more from the Jewish tradition, but I think it's appropriate here too. And if not for the good of everyone, for what? Okay, so things that we are thankful for, that we like to cultivate, consciously cultivate in our life and experience and have them bloom, manifest in our life because we are bringing our attention and intention to them. And finally, those two other points, um, further down along the neck, kind of half the way between the line of the skull and the line of the shoulders, right there in the ropey muscles of the neck, we have these two other points that are called pillars of heaven. And we are going to be pressing like this. So we press as we inhale, but back here, and we release as we exhale. And so these points are also connected with our sinus, and so we can breathe better, we can breathe deeper. And these are called pillars of heaven. And I'm inviting you that while you work with pillars of heaven, you kind of invite this that you want to see grow to actually manifest in your life and grow. And maybe you can even come to some intuitions of how to cultivate it in your life. It's not a must, it's what would you like? What would you like? What would make you happy? What would make you relax? What would make you, yeah, relax? So you are doing this process also at night. Instead of just getting up and thinking, and now what? And now what? Just worrying. No, use it in a positive way. Use it to plant seeds of happiness in others by sending love, and in you by doing this process. Okay, so pillars of heaven. What are going to be those pillars of heaven in your daily life that you would like to cultivate? And we inhale next time, feeling how the heart opens, the chest expands, and we exhale, letting go of tensions, of worries, past memories, anything. Just come to this moment and enjoy this moment and smile. Okay, one more, and then we'll do a little movement. Oh, it's 3 o'clock already. Wow. So within Qigong, there is one form of Qigong means Qi is the vital energy, Gong is the practice. So we have several different forms of Qi or energy. There is one energy that's called Wei Qi, which is defensive Qi. It's a Qi that nourishes our immune system and that helps with our well-being and all that. So the practice is to bring your hands to your face because the brain and the nervous system loves our touch. And so there is a practice within Wei Chi where you go like this. You rub your hands to generate some chi. You put your hands at the base of your face, and then you go up like caressing your face up to your um, forehead and the beginning of your hairline. And then you just very gentle bring the hands down, like if everything is just raining down, caressing, allowing everything to relax. Back also to the neck. And then you bring the hands, the center of your palms along your neck and back to massage like this. So you're also going to massage a point here where the spine meets the line of the shoulders. So again, it goes up. This is cultivating Wei Qi, defensive Qi, which is the Qi that makes your immune system work better. And it's all based on relaxation. Back to your back and forward. Let's do it 2 more times. First up, caressing your face, enjoying the touch of your hands. And then on the way down, kind of erasing, letting go, letting rain any tiredness, any worries. There you go, all the way down here, back to the back and front. And one more time. And smile. Smile is just so potent. Okay? Simple. Up, down, back, and front. Up, down, back, and front. So do we have time for just a little bit of proprioception, which is the sense of your body in the space as you move slowly? Yeah, I'll try to be more or less. Well, I can't be too quick because the secret is to do it slowly. But so I'll do first a movement sitting, and then we'll do it standing. So it's called 3, 2, 1, and it comes from yoga. And we let the hands, as when we stand, we are going to let the hands be facing down, so they are in front of our tummy. And then we are slowly raising the hands and arms up, forming this kind of big ball of chi that comes up, and then it opens to the side. Well, it will be big ball of prana because this comes from the Indian tradition, but prana and chi is the same, vital energy. And so we have 3 of these very slow movement of bringing the arms and hands up, almost like if they are resting on top of this big balloon of prana. And then on the top, they open to the side slowly, feeling the movement slowly. It's very important to do it slow because then there is a connection between nerves and muscles, and there is a relaxation of the whole organism. And one more time, since there are 3 of these, slowly resting. It's almost like if the hands and arms are just kind of coming up on their own. And the slower, the better. And then opening to the sides. And very slowly coming down, relaxing those shoulders, that face, the neck, all the different muscles in the back. So those are the first 3 ones. Then there are 2, the hands are going to be like this here. So they are like in a vortex there, and they are going to open up to the side to shoulder height, shoulder width. I mean, shoulder, the expansion of the arms as long as they go. And then they come up and they meet again in a vortex. And if you can only move one hand, then you just come up with one hand and imagine that the other one's going up or let's say you can only come up with one, imagine that the other hand's coming up and meeting it there. Okay, and then as we exhale, we let those hands and arms open to the side and come back to the same vortex that where they were in the beginning. And one more time, they will, as we inhale, they'll open up to the sides, or if you can only move one arm, just that arm opens to the side and you visualize the other arm opening. And then they go up. If you can bring both up, and if not, you bring one up and imagine that the other one is going up there. And very slowly, really slowly, as slow as you can. When you move slowly, not only there is more connection between your nerves and muscles, which brings a lot of relaxation to your whole organism, but there is also more oxygen circulating along your arms and from there to your brain. So it's a very good practice. So those were two. We did three like a tummy and a circle, two as a rombo, and then one, it's going to be with the hands hanging just here, not in a vortex, but here. And then they are going to come up like along a column of energy and all the way up. And we stay there like hanging from the galaxies. And then eventually bring those arms down, or the one arm that you can move, and imagine that the two of them are coming down. Very slowly, allowing the movement to be completed when the two hands are by the side of your body. And then at the end, we bring the hands together at the forehead and afterwards to the heart. So we are going to do this standing. So we were talking just a moment ago about interoception, which was sensing the processes inside the body. And then proprioception is sensing the posture of your body and also sensing the movement of your body in space. And of course, there is also a little bit of interoception because you might sense how you feel as you do this, how your body feels when you're doing this. Okay, so we stand with the feet shoulder width apart, body straight and relaxed. We are going to visualize the head like a sphere, perfectly balanced on top of the sphere of the chest, and both of them perfectly balanced on top of the sphere of the abdomen. To imagine that the three are really aligned, we are going to visualize a column of unbroken energy going from the pelvic floor through the center of these three spheres to the top of our head. And then we just stand there in a relaxed way. We are going to move our toes up a little bit so that we can feel the contact of the toes when they come down, really touching the floor and the feet touching the floor against those up ones and down. And perhaps just like a bamboo, moving very gently with the breath, letting the body come a little bit forward and back, feeling the connection through the soles of our feet. Great. And then we come to still. And now we're going to do those 3, 2, 1, which come from the Indian tradition, and which I rarely have seen here, but I learned them in India when I was studying there for a whole year. in the early 70s in a school that trained yoga teachers to teach yoga in India. So let's go for the 3, 2, 1. So first the hands, they relax, float up like if they were resting in a big balloon of chi or prana, of vital energy. Almost like if you are not raising the hands, but they are, and arms, but they are raising on their own, very relaxed, all the way up. And then eventually they open to the side in a slow movement, while you progressively relax your shoulders, your neck, your face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. And the hands eventually complete their journey. They are again facing the body. And one more time, they are floating up slowly. You feel the connections between nerves and muscles as these hands and arms travel up. Keep looking forward and eventually look up, but without bringing your head back. And the hands and arms open to the side, and then progressively relax your shoulders, neck, face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. And since there are 3 of these, we are going to do now the last one. Totally relax, but grounded. Progressively relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. Taking your time to complete that third movement. Then the hands are going to face each other like in a vortex without touching. And then we are going to do 2 of these kind of rumble figures. Slowly allowing the hands to float to the side and then up the height of the shoulders, and then the hands are going to be facing up as the arms complete their traveling up, and the hands are meeting like in a vortex. And then they are again opening up and progressively again relaxing shoulders, neck, face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. And this was one. We are going to do a second one at your own pace, slow. Totally relax. At the level of the cells, we are, of the atoms, we are 99,99999 space. So technically, really, you are space moving through space. How relaxed can that be? Emptying yourself of anything else, allowing yourself to relax. So those were 2 rumble forms. And now we're going to do the third one. And the third one is just done once. And the hands and arms are laying to the side of the body. Now they're going to slowly come up like along a column of energy, emanating warmth from one hand and one arm to the other hand and arm. And they go up, and we are like hanging from the galaxies. The body is kind of weighting down, and the arms are going up, and we can look up, but without bringing the head back. So just the eyes look up. And then eventually slowly lowering the arms and hands and looking forward. Also relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. And we just sense how the aliveness in our hands and in our body, aliveness and calmness. So let's do it one more time. And I'm going to stand just a tiny bit back so that you can see my hands when they go up. Okay, so you know more or less 3 like a tummy, just like up there and to the side. Those are 3. 2 as a rhombo, and 1 as a column. Okay, but slow, slow, slow. Okay, so here we are, standing, relaxing, the 3 spheres align, feeling the support of that the floor offers to our body, and we begin. Enjoy it. Find how to practice it in a way that brings you calmness and enjoyment. Opening, like after sleeping. Moving through space, like if you wouldn't know what's in the next inch, just totally present, moment to moment. When your hands come down, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. Emptying yourself of any worries, of anything, just being present with the movement. And then after doing 3 round ones, we do 2 like a diamond. Feeling that is stretching, relaxing as your arms go up. You're looking up, but without bringing your head back. And the opening and relaxing as your arms come down. Hands touch in the upper vortex, and then they start traveling down. Feeling the connections between nerves and muscles. And finally, we come to the 1 as a column. The hands come up slowly, like along a column of energy, also emanating chi to each other, the 2 arms to each other. And then stretching up and just allowing the body to hang down, even softening your knees, but your hands and arms are moving up and you are kind of looking up, but without bringing your head back. I like to call this hanging from the galaxies. A lot of extension without tension. Eventually, the hands and arms start coming down. You're looking forward and keep looking forward. Noticing the relaxation in your body, the aliveness in your hands and the rest of the body. Bringing the feet together, hands together, like in prayer at the forehead. We have a few deep breaths, sending the sensation of peace, of relaxation to someone that we know who might be needing it right now. And imagining the person receiving it and feeling a little bit more light, more at ease. They're smiling, we smile to them, they smile too. May the burden be lifted. Then we bring our hands to our heart and we again send blessings to anyone. For example, to everyone who is in our group today, or to the whole of mankind, or to a group in your family, a group of friends, just for a moment, sending that love. Thank you. Always remembering that any practice we do is not only for us, but also because we are part of a bigger group and for our interactions with everyone. Thank you. Okay. So I hope that some of these practices relax you and that are easy enough for you to practice again. And we are going to keep coming back to this subject of how to relax because it's so important. It's a central aspect of spiritual life, but also just good health and good relationships. So thank you. I hope you practice during the week